let's show that g of x is an odd function. So reminder, an odd function is one that has symmetry over the origin, which means that if your function does this in the first quadrant, then it will do the opposite in the third quadrant, right? So you have sort of symmetry over your origin there. Okay, so what does this mean? This means that if I have an x value and I look at, let me get rid of this dashed line, and I look at minus x over here, then the function here at f of x is the negative down here, right? It's the same magnitude, it's just below the x-axis. That's what it means to have origin symmetry or to be an odd function. So we need to show, this function is called g. We need to show that g at x is the same thing as minus g at minus x, right? If you start here at x, and then you go to minus x, so now you're over here, you should get the negative result. Okay, so let's go through this. Let's look at g of minus x. So I'm starting here, I'm looking at minus g of minus x, and I'm going to show with algebra that I get the same thing as g of x. So this will be minus g of minus x is going to be minus x cubed minus the cubed root of 4 times minus x. Right? That negative sign is right there. And then g of minus x is this relationship, just with minus x's plugged in. Okay, so let's leave that negative sign out front. If I take minus x and I cube it, it stays negative because I'm raising it to an odd power. So it's now minus x cubed. 4 times minus x is just minus 4x. Okay, that negative sign is still out front. Here we have minus x cubed. Now, I can't take the square root of a negative number, but I can take an odd root of a negative number. So the cubed root of minus 4x is minus cubed root of 4x. And now let's send this negative through. So we end up with x cubed plus cubed root 4x. And that right there, oh, what happened? Oh, no, I'm sorry. This negative and this negative turn it into a positive. But then when I distribute this negative through, it turns it back into a negative. That should be a negative number. There we go. So now x cubed minus cubed root of 4x is the same thing as my original g of x function. So I showed that minus g of minus x is the same thing as g of x, meeting the criteria for an odd function.